Hello guys, I am here overlooking the deck of the amazing Fall Creek Falls. Thought it'd be a wonderful vacation just to sit here and do some videos for you guys. I apologize for the echo in this room. On a couple previous videos, it sounded amazing during the playing, but I know it won't sound as good for me talking. I just wanted to do an official review of so far. I've been playing with a certain type of pick for the last several weeks, and I'm ready to do an official review on these, and I thought I'd just go ahead and do it while I was here at Fall Creek Falls. And so let's get right on to it. I received some picks in the mail a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, from C. Whitney Guitars, and they're called Dragon's Heart picks. And I did an unboxing of these on my YouTube channel a few weeks back. That's when I got those. And I've got 4 of them here to review today. I'll tell you a little bit of characteristics about them, and we'll talk about them just a little bit and let you hear the sounds of them. Now, the previous videos I did, one video just dedicated to each individual pick so that you could hear the sound of that. Now, the first 2 videos were in my living room with the window in the background, so it'll sound a little different than these previous 2 videos that were out here at Fall Creek Falls with the echo and all that stuff. What I really want you to pay attention to in this video, even though it has echo, is the different sounds, and I'll kind of point it out to you as we go along and give you some ideas on what you might want to consider if you want to try these out. These, like I said, are Dragon's Heart guitar picks. They are from C. Whitney Guitars, and they're kind of come in 4 varieties or 4 flavors. And so we have what's called the Pure, we have the GT, and I like to keep these in little packets so that I can put whichever pick goes on whichever side of the packet and leave them there, because they're very easy to get confused and mixed up because of the fact that they look so closely similar and closely related. They look really alike in some ways. And we also have the Original and we have the Hardened. Okay, so put these back in the pack and then we'll go over each one of these. The first up is the Pure. It's the one that's the easiest one to distinguish between all of them. It is the brown one. It's the solid brown one, and I'll try to get that a little closer, at least as far as the edge of the sunlight will allow me to. Move this around so that make sure you guys can see this just about every direction here. Each one of these picks has the CW logo, the dragon logo, shaped, engraved on the pick. The Pure is just 100% the material that it's made from, which is called polyamide imide. And this is going to be the most warmish tone of the picks that they have. Now, they have 3 points. You can either pick on the regular standard point, you can use the very sharpened point, or you can use the rounded point for strumming. I rarely use the sharpened or the rounded. I just use the standard. It works fine for me, and it's kind of difficult. The way you want to hold the sharpen is not with the logo facing your thumb. You want it to come around where the logo is facing your first finger, because then it goes into the string a little bit more. I found with the sharpened end on all these picks, it really digs into the string a little too much for me, even if I'm playing lead stuff. So I'm probably going to experiment on the electric guitar with the sharpened end strictly, and then save this video for the standard end. So let's give a listen to the the Pure. This is the Pure, the brown one. It's going to be the mellowest, the warmest tone, and here's what it sounds like on my Breedlove Revival DR Deluxe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some chords like that, and then I'm going to play some regular picking. And then I'm going to play some strumming, because there's all kinds of different aspects of these picks that I want you to pay attention to, and I'll tell you about those in just a little bit. So that was the chords. Let's go on to some picking here. Now some chords. Strumming, I mean. the thing I want you to listen for, especially in strumming, is the pick noise of these picks. Now, the Pure is about the best sounding as far as pick noise. It doesn't have a lot of pick noise. And what I mean by pick noise is the sound of the actual pick hitting the strings, not actually making the sound of the string, but just its own little scraping sound. You can hear that. It's very metallic sounding. Okay, here's what to listen for in that is listen to what it sounds like with just the muting, and then when I play the chords, see how much of it is still there, because that's what's really going to give the best characteristic of what the pick sound actually sounds like and whether it's going to bother you or not. Now, I found that plugged in, there's extreme amount of pick noise, probably because the strings are so sensitive with both the internal mic and the pickup that's in the saddle here on this particular guitar. So you're going to get a lot of pick noise with these, especially with the next three, more so than with the Pure. The Pure is probably the best as far as getting rid of that pick noise, and I like the warm tone of it. Let's move on to the GT. Now this, for a little while, has become one of my favorites, and it's very hard to tell apart from the Hardened. There's one distinct characteristic I have found to do that, and that is the more you play with the GT, the more you're going to get kind of like a copper bronze tone or bronze color, in which the material that this is made of is starting to wear off just a little bit, and that's just the feel that's in there. This is, I forget the percentages, but it's mixed with the polyamide, and the GT is mixed with carbon fiber, if I'm not mistaken. You can go to the website that's in the link below and check that out for sure. But I'm pretty sure it's carbon fiber and the original polyamide, and that's the Dragon's Heart GT. As of right now, it's the newest one that's released to the public. Like I said, that carbon fiber begins to come off a little bit, and you can see a nice bright sheen, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed. For me, it's always going to be, if the pick is facing me, the sheen is going to be on the right side of the bevel. It definitely shows on the GT. One thing about the GT the GT mainly, the original and the Hardened don't do this as much, but when you're playing, you'll notice that your finger's starting to turn a little black. I was playing the other night at a place and at a church, and the three first fingers were like coated in black because of the pick material. It comes off on the strings. Now, it's not coming off on your fingers. What happens is that's a good way to tell how close your fingers are to the strings, because it comes off on the string, and then your fingers, like for example, when I pick, the very tip of my first finger and the fingernail scrapes the strings when I'm picking, and I don't feel it really at all. It doesn't hurt or anything, but I don't feel it. But it lets me know that I'm using my first finger a lot on those strings. Same thing with these. When I'm using the hybrid picking, they start to come off here on my fingers. Now, it doesn't hurt the sound of the string. My strings are coated, and graphite, for example, is really good for like keeping your strings and things like that, so in tune. I'm not sure about carbon fiber, but so far these strings have still sounded amazingly brand new. I mean, they sound really well. These are electric strings, and they have sounded really well. And so let's hear what it sounds like for a little bit. Let's just do some chords first. Now some picking. So that is the Dragon's Heart GT, and like I said, it's kind of hard to tell apart from the Hardened, especially because of the fact that it looks so similar. But like I said, you'll be able to tell if you look at that bevel there. It's starting to look a little coppery right now, like a really goldish bronze looking on the tip. So, and it's really nice. It's got like almost like a metallic glitter sheen to it. Okay, so that's that one. Now we move on to the original. This one's finally got used to this one. It's kind of a grayish green, like a forest dark green color to it. This one is the one that's mixed with graphite. Very beautiful patterns on this. I'm not sure if you can see that in the sunlight or not. Especially the back. You can definitely see a really pretty pattern on the back there. Hopefully you can see that. But this is the one that's it's the original. This has a mix of graphite and polyamide. Now each one of these as well, you can look at the website, each one of these has a different lifespan, but trust me, these are going to take forever to wear out. That polyamide is very resistant to wear, it's very resistant to any kind of heat. If you look at the tests that are done on that website, it's amazing what they do, and they punch these picks and they still come out stronger than the competition. In my experimentations, it took me a while to get used to them because they are so thick. They're like 2.5 millimeters thick, and I prefer a thinner pick. With my blue chip pick here that I've been using for about 2 years, it's 1.5 millimeters, about that size, and it's a lot thinner in comparison to a Dragon's Heart pick. This thing is a massive monster here. It's hot. Now I like my blue chip pick, don't get me wrong, but I really wanted to try these out, and they sent them to me, so I really want to give them a fair shot. And but try it out. I'll tell you one of the toughest things about it is the fact that it is so thick, but it's also a little smaller than the blue chip pick that I'm used to. Size comparison wise, here is the blue chip, and here is the Dragon's Heart. If I can get it up here right. Okay. A little bit smaller, not as wide. With the tri-point, you're always going to get a wider point, a wider pick, that is. So, yeah, it's kind of small, and the fact that it's got that little divot there where it's missing part of the pick makes it feel like you're going to lose the pick. So far, I haven't dropped one of these, and they have a very, very nice grip to them. Sometimes I lick my fingers to get that grip to even hold on even tighter. But they're not so grippy that I can't move them around if I need to and adjust on the fly. So I have noticed very, very minimal, if at all, wear from these picks. I mean, I've played with these for the last 3 weeks through practice sessions, creating YouTube videos from them. And like I said, they last a long time. One of them lasts like 1,000 hours before you notice any noticeable wear. I think the Hardened is the most durable. It lasts up to like 1,500 hours. So I mean, for $8.90 something, I think $8.97 for like $10 basically, you're getting a really, really nice product that's going to last, and it sounds really good on your guitar. Okay, so let's listen to the sound of this real quick. This is the original, really nice tone. It's a little brighter than the pure. Now the GT is, just to let you know before I forget, the GT is kind of a mix in sound and tone between the Hardened and the original. If you can't decide which one of those to get, C.W. Whitney Guitars recommends you try the GT first. So here's the original, play some chords here. picking. Let's see if I can come up with something different here. Strumming. Let's do some strumming in, let's go for D here. But I noticed quite a bit of pick noise in the original. It does have a nice balanced tone though. I like that it's bright, not too dark. They definitely have distinction in tone, but they're very, very similar. So it's kind of hard to tell which one you might like better. It's best to try them all and do what you can to kind of decide which ones you like. Now, they have offered a special coupon code for my viewers and my fans. If you go to the website below and enter the promo code EricBeatty 10, it will give you a 10% off discount. And that's going to be running till the end of the year, I believe. And then after that, the discount runs out. So definitely now you've really got no excuse not to try some of these for yourself and see if they're if they'll be a good fit for you. Now, I don't recommend trying these if you've been playing with a very thin pick all your life. I recommend kind of graduating to a thicker pick and a thicker pick, and then eventually getting some of these, because it's going to feel very weird, and you're going to get them, and you're going to be like, well, I want to try these. These feel terrible. These feel weird. So you're not going to give them a fair chance, is what I'm trying to say. So definitely check out that website and enter the coupon code EricBeatty10, and the number 10, not the word 10, but the number 10. When you check out their website. When that coupon code runs out, you can still check the website below to order your very own Dragon's Heart guitar picks. Now that leaves us with the last one, and that is the Hardened. Now, like I said, this and the GT is very similar, and I have to be careful not to mix these up. The Hardened has more of a brownish color to it. And I noticed that it doesn't wear down the edge, not that wear down, but it doesn't show the copper color on that tip like the GT does. That's really one of the main characteristics I've noticed about it. Also, the engraving of the Dragon logo, especially when you get the sunlight like I am right now, you can really tell that it's really inside the engraving a little bit more so than the GT. In other words, it looks almost like an outline of the color of the pick, whereas the GT is just almost invisible if you tilt it a certain way in the sun. What I may do after this is to show a really close-up of these and show you what I'm talking about. I think that'll be the best thing to do. Now, it's definitely different from the original, because the original, like I said, it has a very forest green color to it. It's a very nice dark color to it, almost like a dragon scale color. But the Hardened definitely has that outline to it, and it's a little bit more of a brown color to it. Here's what it looks like. See if I can get a little closer there for you. Move it around a little bit so you can see what it looks like. And on the back, it still has that metallic sparkle to it. Very nice color. This is mixed with polyamide and glass fiber. I don't think it's fiberglass, but it says glass fiber. I don't know if it's the same thing or not. That's what it's mixed with. And this is the one that's supposed to last the longest. As a result of it being mixed with glass particles, glass fiber, it's also the brightest of all 4 of these in the spectrum here. So let's have a listen to the Hardened, and we'll make some close-ups of these so that we can see exactly what I've been talking about this whole time. All right, so here's the Hardened, playing some chords. And some strumming. Definitely the brightest of the 4, okay? So you definitely want to be aware that this is a bright sounding pick. A lot of pick noise from the gate, especially if you plug this your guitar up. Especially on the upstrokes, I've noticed. Almost like a bird chirping, almost like the sound of a slide. All kinds of weird noises you can get with that, especially if you're plugged in. You might want that sound for all the funny noises you can get. So my review, my official review on these are a very gourmet pick, for the lack of a better term. They fit very nicely in my hands. Like I said, it took about a week to get used to the thickness of these picks. And I know a lot of players like Brian Sutton play 2mm and up as far as their pick size and their pick preference in millimeters. So I like these picks. I like the fact that it feels like I'm wearing a customized, not wearing, but playing a customized pick. And that, it's a pick that I know that they are sold, to the public at large, but it feels like it's a pick designed just for me. Personally, I don't use the rounded tip of the other. Now, just to let you know what that sounds like, let me just get middle of the road sound, which would probably be the GT. Let you hear what that sounds like. Let's get a middle of the road pick sound here. And play with the strumming side, which is the rounded side. Very nice, glides off the strings very nicely because of that large bevel. And they say that the large bevel, that really deep, thick bevel there that you see, comes out to a thin tip, so it almost feels like you're playing a thin pick. It doesn't for me because I can still tell that there's a thick pick in my hand. But here's the sharpened side, the one that's the standard side, strumming. And then the rounded side. Definitely feels like it comes off the strings easier because there's no resistance, because there's no point there. Now you definitely wouldn't want to strum with the pointy side. Like I said, you basically have to turn it around, flip it around here to get it to pick the right angle in the strings. Now you don't want to strum that. For one thing, it's weird. I've noticed that the sharpened end. Here's the standard end. Here's the sharpened end. Almost sounds like a deeper tone. On the same pick, you get like a totally different tone. Same material, same everything. But I guess it's the point of the shape of the pick that makes a different sound. And as far as picking, yes, it could work. When you go back to strumming, it's really hard to flip that thing around. So it's, like I said, it's good for picking, but it's hard for strumming. So I stick with the standard side. That way I get the best of both worlds. And if you wanted to use this other side, you definitely might want to try an electric guitar where there's not a whole lot of strumming involved. But anyway, that's up to you. My take on these picks, I like them. I don't know if I like them as good or better than my blue chip, but just as a sound comparison, here's what they sound like. I noticed this about the pick. This is the GT still. Here is the GT pick. Just one strum, okay? And the blue chip. Seems like it loses a little bit of the bottom end with the blue chip. There's a lot less pick noise. Not a lot of noise or anything like that. But you lose that really big thump. And I don't know, I paid a lot of money for the blue chip picks. One of them was given to me free as a sample, and I paid a lot of money for the other one. They're about 35 bucks a piece versus $8.97. Plus, they're going to be 10% off if you use the Eric Beatty, the number 10, Eric Beatty 10 discount code. So I'll just leave that up to you. You judge for yourself what you want. My best advice is to order the 3-pack and get the pure, original, and GT, and kind of, for right now, ignore the Hardened, because those are going to give you a good balance without being too bright. The Hardened is going to be a good pick. I've experimented a little bit with on the electric guitar, and it's going to have a good pick sound for the electric guitar, so that's going to be nice. So let's go ahead and do some close-ups of these picks so you can see exactly what they're going to look like, okay? Alright guys, as you can see, we have the Dragon's Heart guitar picks here lined up, and you're probably going to see my hand back here. I've got to block the sun from my, give me some shade so I can see the LCD display on my camcorder here. But here's all 4 of these lined up. We have, this is the pure, this is the GT, okay, we got the GT here, you can't see with that glare. That's the GT and that's the pure. And what I usually do is I put the pure on this side and I put the GT on this side in this little zip baggie so I can tell which one apart. This is the original here, and then this one right here is the Hardened, okay? Now, you just hold these up and tilt these a little bit better so you can see them. The pure is obviously brown, definitely different in color than all the rest of them. If I get up close here, see how nice that looks? I'm trying to get all the different aspects. Okay, and before I go any further, let me just show you the tips of my fingers. See that? Where I was telling you about the black that gets on there. Now this happens the most with the GT pick. For some reason that carbon fiber really likes to come off. It doesn't happen as much with the original because it's graphite, and hardly happens at all with the Hardened because it's got the glass fiber feel. But these two are the ones that it's going to happen the most, and definitely this one more than that one. That's GT over the original. But the other day, like I said, I was playing and they were on all three of these fingers, and the tip of my thumb sometimes has them too, and the bottom of my finger where I grab the strings, it's where the material kind of rubs off on the strings. So far I haven't noticed any problems with tuning or anything like that, any corrosion of strings because of that, so I'm not worried about that happening with the pick. Although it is aggravating having that residue on my hands after playing a big show. One thing I wanted to mention is, think of this in comparison. When I play with the Gilbert family, a typical show for me is like, I don't know, 45 minutes. Let's say I did an hour show, okay, and I do that, and we practice for like 2 hours, okay, so that's 3 hours out of, let's say, a week. So I still have like 19, or if I'm using, let's say I'm using this one for easy math, 1,000 hours, okay? Out of 3 hours, I still have 997 hours to go before this thing starts to wear, okay? Before you start to notice, you know, any wear. That's their claim to fame, okay? So that's a really big deal. And I apologize for the plane in the background. Hopefully you can still hear me. But let's get on to the GT here. This is the GT, and it's very difficult to tell apart from the Hardened, like I said. And that's what it looks like on the back. Now, I'm not sure you can see this or not, but while I play with this, here's what I was telling about, is the, right here on this bevel, I'm not sure if you can see that, right on this edge of it, there's a little bit more of a copper bronze color to it. If I flip it over, it's on the other side as well. And that's what's going to happen. I hope you can see this. That's what's going to happen as you play with this pick. So if you somehow get the Hardened and the GT mixed up, that's one way you can tell them apart. Like I said, try ordering just the original, the GT, or the pure, the GT and the original first, and ignore the Hardened and kind of get your idea of what the balance of tone is with this. That's my suggestion. So that's the GT, and if you look, the logo almost fades in the sunlight. I mean, almost fades. There's no distinction there at all. Now, just for comparison's sake, let's go to the Hardened next. See how similar that is in color? Now, for one thing I didn't have to worry about is this doesn't change color. So that's one way that I could tell it apart. And a beautiful, beautiful, you know, metallic sheen, glitter to it. But the other thing is, look, when I tilt this, that's what it looks like head on. When I tilt it, you can see the outline more in the logo. It's almost like the outline is traced with a very fine line of brown. Whereas the GT does not have that, it kind of disappears. So that's a good way to tell. If I hold these both up together, if I can try this. We got both of these. This is the GT and the Hardened. Head on, they look about the same, but when you tilt them, you should be able to see a brown trace around that logo, whereas this one kind of disappears. Okay? So they're so similar, but like I said, there's a couple things there that you can tell them apart by. Plus, when you play them, the Hardened is definitely brighter than the GT. So when you play both of them back to back, you can tell. And the last one here is the original. Like I said, this has a nice forest green look to it. Almost like a gray or gray green. Very beautiful, beautiful picks. This was the one with the graphite in it. So this one, it definitely is easy to tell apart from the rest of them, and so is the pure, also easy to tell apart because it's a totally different color altogether. Now, as far as my favorite pick, I would have to say, man, it's a tough choice. This one has low pick noise, but it doesn't have as much brightness, so that you're going to get a lot more bass in your playing. The GT and the original are probably my two favorites right now, and I can't decide on which one I like better. The downside about this is it does rub off on your fingers quite a bit. This one, however, does not. But this one's almost too much pick noise compared to the GT. So I find myself experimenting with a lot of these. But the cool thing is about this, it's all about tone, because they're all the same shape. They're all the same feel in your hands. So you don't have to worry about switching between 3 or 4 picks for a different, and having to worry about a different feel. Each and every one of these feels exactly the same, and all you have to worry about is finding out which tone you want to tune into for the best, for your preferences. So I think that's going to be it for this series of Dragon's Heart guitar picks. I'd like to get some more of these in. They have some new prototypes coming out soon that are much thinner, and I really prefer a much thinner pick. I'll tell you that right now. Once they get those in, I'll probably switch to those. But like I said, aren't these like, these are pristine, professional looking picks, and it feels, like you're privileged to be able to hold one of these in your hands. It feels like it's made for you when you play them. So definitely try them out. Check out the website below. Use the coupon code Eric Beatty and the number 10 when you check out from their website, if the code is still available. And then, try them out. Get the 3-pack. Get these 3 here, the Pure, the GT, and the Original, and just kind of ignore the Hardened for right now. It's my advice. And to try them all out and see which ones you like the best. And leave me a comment below in this video. Tell me what you think about them. And I'll tell you right now, if you're one of those people who don't think that picks make a difference, and you probably don't even want to bother commenting, because they do. I've experimented with many picks over the years, and they do make a difference. I will tell you that. I found that out a long time ago. It's not just your strings. It's not just your guitar. You can have a crappy guitar and have a pick that makes it sound like heaven on earth. A pick does make a lot of difference, okay? So I'm going to sign off for here now, guys. It's been a long video, but I appreciate you sticking around and checking it out. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great evening, have a great day, and we're going to enjoy the rest of our vacation here at Fall Creek Falls. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot, and God bless.